Hey, what's up, Preston? This is a quick demo video for you for your 89 Sabers Fallen V2. So as you know from my post, I just got this done today. I have quite a bit of work put into this guy, so wanted to go over it with you. This is installed with a Proffie V2. It's a 2-button setup, so your main activation switch is going to be this button right here, and then obviously 180 degrees is that little brass switch right here is going to be your auxiliary. So you've got CCSabers LED pixels in here that we talked about. I did put a NeoPixel accent on the bottom of the chassis. I'll show you that in a second. But as for the weathering, I wanted to show you what I did with the weathering here. We'll just kind of slowly give it a turn as we go. I did powder coat the handle black that we talked about. I put a little bit of damage with my Dremel in here, a couple added folds, just so it looked like it was ripped right here, just all the way around. Try to hit those little creases where I thought, it would damage those squares. And then after that, I came up with my torch. I bent these up, all the little flanges that you see here, bent those up. And then I came back and powder coated everything black. And then spent quite a bit of time on this guy. So you can take this out if you want. I did not have to JB weld this in. I made a few modifications to my pixel holder where I don't have to do that anymore. But that is the pommel. Couple brass rods in here, couple wires. Just got 2 wires, like a black wire and a red one. Couple yellows, couple yellow wires, couple brass rods. They're all JB welded in there though, and then I went and weathered over top of that so it all looked like one piece. Let's open this up. It's a tight fit, but everything does fit like it should. There's just no room in this guy. I like to model my chassis if I can to, when I model the battery cradle in there, I model it to where the handle is actually kind of like the lid for the battery, so it helps hold it in. So handle comes off. You got your pixel accent back here. This is right in front of your 28mm Smuggler's Outpost bass speaker. I'm pushing this speaker at about 2200 and it's gnarly. It sounds amazing. And I'll fire it up for you here in a second. But it does say Fallen Order over here in Arabesh. And then I put Solo Sabers in Arabesh on all my chassis. I do have a Smuggler's Outpost logo right here. And then it's a removable battery setup. So you can see your micro SD connector right there. So you can get to that without taking the chassis out. But if you want to get to your SD card, what you'll have to do is these 2 greeblies here, this square one, and then over here, the square one too, they're on with some E6000. So you don't have to take the top one off, okay, because I didn't use that to retain the chassis. I just used the bottom one. You take this bottom one and just rip it off. That E6000 holds really well, but it does come off when you need it to. That's kind of why I like it. So when you rip that off, there's going to be 3 set screws in there. 2 black anodized ones that you won't have to touch. That's helping to hold the coupler in. And then you've got one all the way over here on my left. It's silver. It's a little bit longer, and that is what's actually holding the chassis in. That's your chassis retention screw under there. So you take that out, carefully pull the chassis out. It's very tight, right? Pull it out. You can pop your board up. It's just a press fit down into the shelf there, and then do what you need to do with your SD card. Pop that board back down. It will just be a tight press fit for you, and then push it back in place. Just want to make sure when you push it back in place that the top of the battery cradle is aligned with your activation switch right here in that straight line right there, because that's how your tactile switches on the inside line up. So we're going to put a battery in it. Spring side is your negative. You do have a lot of wires in here. You can't see it very well in the video, but I do have a wire channel right there. So all those wires are running nice and neatly in that wire channel, and they don't get in the way of the battery. The battery sits right on top.
I don't know what's got second sister thinking you're so important.
This battery is super tight, right? So it's going to take a little bit of doing. It'll go most of the way in, but then at the very last on this positive side, you're just going to have to press and pop it in. And then you're going to need a tool right here to pop it back out. You're not going to be able to get this battery out with your finger. If you wanted to make it a little bit looser, you know, if that starts to get on your nerves. I kind of like them tight, but if you want it looser, you come in here where the spring is for your negative side, lop off a couple of those coils, and then that will make your battery just a little bit looser for you. I chose not to do that because I just like the press fit of everything, but it's definitely an option. So we're gonna put that battery in. We got it sitting all the way down the battery cradle. Take your handle, slide it over. Like I said, it is pretty snug, but it goes right on. And there's a few threads on this coupler, but that's okay. And before I put a blade in it, we're gonna fire it up real quick. So you can use activation if you want.
Let's make this quick.
LEDs lighting up really good. That just sounds amazing. LEDs in here. I gave you that broken circuitry. Auxiliary. And then we can hold it to turn it off.
Being an inquisitor taught me no setback is too great.
But if you don't want to use the, if you don't want to use your activation button, I gave you motion controls.
Let's make this quick. Being an
Twist off.
inquisitor taught me no setback is too great.
So I put all the sound fonts that you want me to put on here. And I believe that these are the sound fonts that you made. So anybody that's watching this that doesn't know, Preston makes sound fonts over at Syndicate Custom Fonts on Facebook. So you can check them out for these sound fonts if any of these are something that you think you'd want. So we're gonna click the auxiliary to go to the next sound font.
They're pod racing on Alistair. Very fast, very dangerous.
Activation. So I gave you kind of a unstable ignition on that because I thought it went well with the pod racing theme. Blaster deflex. Blade locked up. Everything's working good there. I think I accidentally muted it. Yep, sorry, I muted it.
Dark Jedi.
Activation. See your smooth swings working good. You got a responsive blade animation. This one just felt like it needed an unstable blade style, so this is the only sound font that I put an unstable one on. But no matter what sound font you've got, I still left this like this. We'll go to the next one.
I'm Cal Kestis.
Fallen Order. Kind of hard to swing with my blade, but there. I gave you an orange blade style for the Cal Kestis. But of course, like I said, everything, all the aftermarket tracks will have this. One thing I did do is I left all of these stock fonts the same. So your stock fonts will have, hang on.
General, I thought was one of the greatest of the Jedi.
Your stock fonts, whatever your blade does, your pixel will do. I left those alone so that you could just get the feel, if you wanted to, what this would look like if everything matched. And we'll go through a few of those.
The Jedi generalized and combined the Force with
This is General Skywalker, right?
him a great
swing. Flash on flash.
Great Jedi once told me the best leaders lead by example.
The blade is super tight, so I'm not using your blade retention right here. That's why I'm being kind of careful. My full-length blade fit into it pretty well, but I don't want to get too crazy and swing this guy on and then my blade goes flying. So that's why I'm kind of trying to take it easy a little bit.
Team C.
Now on the stock fonts, you'll get blade animation and pommel the same. We'll just cycle through a few of these.
Smooth Jedi. Smooth gray.
Fire blade here, fire blade in your pommel. Right? So that's basically your Saber. Everything's working well. Got all the sound fonts you wanted. I hope you like the weathering and the powder coat job. If you got any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, this guy will go out in the mail to you tomorrow morning. Thanks, buddy.